Alright, so today we're going to talk about 10 new releases that have come out this year that I haven't read yet that I still want to get to. Alright, so in no particular order, I was just going through my recent release roundups and the general internet. I'm like, oh yeah, I would like to read that one. I would like to read that one. I just wrote a list. And here's the list, and we're just going to go through it. So, first off, I would still like to read the Terraformers. I don't want to buy it. I think I need to get a copy from the library. But I want to read it and see how I feel about this sci-fi work. I've heard some stuff that are buzzwords. I've heard some stuff that aren't buzzwords. And in general, I'm wondering how the character work is going to land for me. I can see the ideas really landing for me, but are the ideas going to be enough? And I think that's going to be writing style based, which I truly won't know until I read a chapter or two. So that is still very much on my list. I don't know what's going to get me to pick it up and read it, but it's still one that I would like to try out. Our Share of Night, I do currently have plans to read this. I plan to read this for Patron Buddy Read in the fall, and with Ryan, I have a copy. It's on my shelf. So this is one of the closest books to being read on this list. Number 3 is kind of like, I put Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones, but what I really mean is that entire series, so starting with the first book, which I'm forgetting of, but that didn't come out this year. Don't Fear the Reaper came out this year. But I want to read that series because I think that could be really fun this fall. I really love how much people love the main character. Like, they make shirts about her. I want to love a character as much as this fan base loves this main character. I can't remember her name right now. Is it Jane? Jade? I don't know. But I want to give it a shot. So although I'm putting Don't Fear the Reaper here, and it's technically, I'm already lying. I want to read the book that's already been published. I don't know if I would read them back to back even. So like, truly, this is just a reminder to me that I want to read this series. So sorry already that this video is a lie. We have Feed Them Silence by Lee Mandello. I really liked Summer Suns. This novella has been getting incredibly good buzz, even from people who don't like novellas. And I'm curious about it. I almost read it. Like, I had it on my Kindle for a while, but it didn't come up. And it's so short. It's like 100 pages. So like, I want to know how it is so impactful in leaving the impact it does for people. Like, it's just like so concise. And it looks like it follows some pretty messy interpersonal relationships and communication trees and things like that between like human and animal and vice versa. I want to try it out. I want to see if it works for me. Definitely when people were talking about it, I got Echo Wife vibes, which I do like that sci-fi thriller. I don't think it's going to be the same thing, but like, I was getting those vibes, and those are good vibes for me to like notice. Next up, we have Bitter Medicine, another book that is closer to being read than not because I own it. Do not currently have it slotted into like a reading plan, but if at any point I'm feeling kind of down, it's kind of one of those books that I'm like tempted to take off the shelf when I'm like in a low reading mood, because I think this contemporary fantasy would like be really easy to help get me into the reading headspace. I could be wrong, but we're going to try it out. Untethered Sky, I do have plans to read. This is the next one. This is the newest Fonda Lee. So this is a novella about, I think, animal companion people, relationships, maybe training with them. I know a lot of people kind of wanted this to be longer or didn't love this as much as Greenbone, but I've also heard plenty of people who thought this was like a perfect study of a relationship between someone and their animal companion. So the fact that it is relationship focused, even if not between like two humans, has me intrigued. I do love animal companions, and I really liked the Greenbone saga. So I don't have reasons to think that this won't work for me. I just haven't gotten to it yet, and I have a physical arc, so this is definitely kind of like Our Share of Night, one of the ones that are more likely to get read in the near future. We have The Blighted Stars by Megan O'Keefe. This is the newest series by this author. I've been reading the Protectorate series this year, and I think the sequel comes out this year as well. So I think the first 2 books in this series come out. I don't know if I'm committing to reading both of those. I mean, I'm not committing to reading anything on this list. I just made this list because I thought it'd be fun. But this one, I think it has a lot of buzzwords for me. I think it still has the plot-driven nature of the other series that I have liked, and even focuses more on character interaction to the point where people are warning other people that there's a romance element. And for me, that's like, cool. I'm okay with that. And it seems to be like a rich character and maybe a bodyguard type character type of dynamic, which I don't know if that's like my buzzwords. I think I've only read one book where that's like a thing and I didn't like love it, but I do, it's not an anti-buzzword. I just like strong character interactions, and I have liked what I've seen in the Protectorate, so I could see myself really liking this series. A bunch of people in my Discord who have read the Protectorate series because of our buddy read have already read this and loved it. So I'm excited. I'm terribly excited. And then we have surprising to me that I've put it on this list, The Will of the Many. So this is the same author who wrote the Lycanius trilogy, which I have no interest in ever reading. I don't think I ever will. I don't think it'll work for me. If I read The Will of the Many and it suddenly becomes like a new favorite book of all time, I might eat my words and go back and try it out. But there's just so much about this book that people were talking about that I'm just like, oh, I gotta try it out. I just gotta. I don't know when, because I think right now I'm just finishing Lightbringer. It's like I need some time before I'm in first person present again, but I can do that probably pretty soon. But it's a school setting. It's got some interesting magic that definitely has consequences on the people. I think it's got one of those more hard magic systems, which I'm kind of itching for. I haven't really read a hard magic system book in a while. And I think it's just like a very easy, consumable, like high epic fantasy book, which I also haven't read in a while. So it's just like I'm feeling nostalgic towards this type of book at the moment, like all the words people are saying about it, all the authors they compare it to. Like I'm kind of being reminded of like a Brent Weeks book when people talk about this. It's like, okay, maybe I should try it out. So that's one that came out this year that I wasn't expecting to have on my list, but here we are. And then we have Love Theoretically. This is an Ali Hazelwood book. This is romance, contemporary. It's always academic based. I just need it to not be academic based because they stress me out. Being in academia, it's not an escape for me, but the romance parts are very good and very escapist. And I don't even care if it's the same formula over and over again. I truly don't. I really like the color of this book. I thought about buying it at the bookstore the other day. I didn't because I truly read these on ebook. I don't read physical romance books because I'm more likely to be reading them at night. And at night, the lights are out. I need to have the backlit screen of my Kindle or this isn't happening. I don't actually really know the premise of this one. I think the character is like, not an escort, but like she'll go on dates with people and pretend to be their dates. So if like I don't know what society we live in where you have to pretend you have a date. I didn't know we still live in this time, but for the conceit of a contemporary romance, here we are. And then I think the brother of the person she does the dates for is important for her to get the job, and it's probably antagonistic to lovers or something. Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with all the tropes that are being served here. It's going to be a great time. And then another book is The Surviving Sky. I recently hauled this in a Friday Reads. This book is so pretty. And I really, really, really want to like it. Some people in that video have already told me, I think you're gonna like these two characters. I think they have kind of an estranged relationship. I think it's a married couple that we're following, and this society is one that reveres science because science is the only way they got out of the situation from, like, I think climate disaster or something like that. I don't know. I think it's basically we are far past the point where we can live on the planet the way we used to because of what we've done, but I don't think it's so post-apocalyptic that, like, it's not Mad Max Fury Road situation, and it's still an imperfect society. We're also not in a utopia space. And the cover looks so cool. Does the cover not capture your imagination? Because it captures mine, and I really want to read it. And I actually do have plans for this one. This is also high up. This is going to be our November-December buddy read for Patreon, I'm pretty sure. I mean, technically that poll is still running, but this is the runaway leader by far. And I'm really excited because I think this will be good for discussion, hopefully. I don't know. I don't know how thematically based this sci-fi book is, or if it's more character-focused, but it looks cool. And when we read Sue Burke's book last year, I forget what it's called, Symbiosis, that was really good for discussion. Oh, I said 10 books for this video, but I'm now going to make it 11 because I keep forgetting this book is out because no one's talking about it. But the new Sue Burke book, I want to read it. I really liked that duology I read last year, so I want to read this. I don't know what it's about. I need to get my hand on it because no one's talking about it, but I really like what they do in the sci-fi space, so this one. This is also a new release this year that I really want to get to. That has already been published and I have not read yet. And this does not include all of the really pretty covers of books that I've been seeing at my bookstore lately. Like, I don't need to be reading all these new expensive hardcover books, but there are some stunning books out there. I'll put 2 of them here that I'm just like, oh, I'm interested. But if I read these would be from the library. I cannot just drop $30 on hardbacks right now without having at least tested them out. But Solaris is a publisher that does some really fun things. I'm very lucky that my bookstore carries like such a wide range of publishers in the fantasy sci-fi space. I'm very lucky. So that's, a brief list of the things that have come out this year that I haven't gotten to yet, kind of continuing in my where am I at with the new releases video, because you saw earlier this week the 15 new releases I have read this year. Let me know if there's any that I should be adding to this list that I didn't talk about that you're like, Angela, I know your taste. This is a book you should be reading. If you want to leave an emoji just to let me know you're here, I don't know. I think of trees when I think of the surviving sky, so leave a tree emoji. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.